What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you how I'm preparing to become the best goddamn Chinese Let's Player in the entire world. Yeah, I know, that's quite an ambitious goal, especially when my Chinese is absolutely atrocious at this stage, but I am working towards that goal. That is my long-term vision. It's something I've spoken about on this channel before, and I even launched my Chinese channel, as you can see over here, and surprisingly, I'm about to crack 200 subs, so thanks for that, guys. And I even got like freaking almost 1,000 views on my first video, so there is hope, I guess, eventually. But I have been practicing for building out all the sentences and structures and things I want to be able to say for the first game I want to play, because remember, guys, I'm not fluent in this language, and I'm going to be using games to direct my fluency and become basically micro-fluent at playing certain games. So today I just want to show you how I've been doing that. Now, I spoke in my last video that I plan to play the game Left 4 Dead. So the first thing I did is I basically opened up a Anki deck, okay? And this deck, the whole purpose of this deck was basically just to learn a couple of standalone words and phrases that I would need, but this is not to practice like actual grammar or use or anything like that. So I've just got a couple of things in here, forget like that, play the piano and stuff, but like, for example, you know, reload. This was actually something I didn't know how to say in Chinese, so I just quickly slapped that one in there. So I've got to reload on the front, and then on the back I've got 装弹. Okay, and then survivor, 生存者, because in this game you play as a survivor, okay? And then certain things like, you know, the locations, I don't know why I've got that stuff in there. Oh, okay, so then I've got, you know, just these random little words that I will be using as part of greater sentences, and then lots of gameplay words like 弹药, which is ammunition, okay? Or to barricade, 加固. And then I've got like, you know, just the more locations in the game, and then certain things like a zombie horde, and I've even got like a little gif on the front there, and then of course I've got the weapons, the tools, the types of ammo, things like special abilities, more weapons, and then also the different types. Yeah, and so then different types of zombies and stuff as well. And like also the actions that they perform, and then also how you use them. But you'll notice it's just basically one word translations, primarily using images on the front. Now, this is just to quickly get those words into my head, but the way I've been practicing them is actually part of two different systems. So the first one is, I wrote this program a while ago, I deleted everything in it, and then I started reusing it just for Chinese in this game's context, okay? So basically, what I have here is it randomly generates a sentence based on a certain structure that I give it in certain words. Now, I did try this out with ChatGPT, but the problem is that ChatGPT will just start using random structures after a little bit, and I wanted to practice certain structures. So here, the sentences I hear a special infected that is to my right, okay? So I wanted to practice the hearing, the location, and then the thing all together. Now, I could have said this before, but I wouldn't have sounded that native, okay? So like my Chinese grammar has a tendency to be a little bit too English-like or just random-like, okay? So my biggest problem is ensuring that I have a very native-sounding Chinese grammar. Okay, so here it says, I hear a special infected that is to my right, and now I'm going to try and swap to my Chinese brain while I'm talking. So it's like, 我听到右边有一个特殊感染者的声音. So, and then I'd hit enter, and I'd have a look, and I've got that all working in there, and it's showing me the Chinese, and it's also got the pinyin, even though I don't really need that. And then it just asks me, did I get that right or not? And if I got it right, I just go yes, and it just basically deletes it from the temporary memory and generates another sentence. And you'll notice that most of the sentences at the moment are focused on hearing, because I'm going through a phase where I'm practicing certain verbs at a time. So here it's got, I can hear a special infected, okay? So, 我听到特殊感染者, you know, that's it. So, 我听到, I hear it's 一个特殊感染者, and then I just go yes, and I just keep doing this over and over and over, just practicing, okay? And you might think this is a bit boring, a bit mundane, but this is a good way of like actually really enforcing certain structures in your head. And it's not just the exact same structure, it's lots of structures related to listening or hearing, okay? So I hear a boomer explode to my right, okay? So a boomer is like this fat zombie that goes in the game type of thing. So here I'm practicing the boomer, I'm practicing it in, you know, its location, and I'm also practicing explode. And by the way, these are all sentences that I've put in today, so I'm pretty rusty with these. So it'd be like, 我听到右边有爆炸者的爆炸 声 yeah, okay, yep, let me just do that one. Yeah, so 我听到右边有爆炸者的爆炸声 yeah, so I got that right, but you saw I struggled through it a little bit, but I literally added this sentence in today, but I have practiced it quite a bit, and I can definitely hear a special infected. So it's like 我肯定听到一个特殊感染者 so it's like 我肯定听到一个特殊感染者 I forgot the l here, okay? So this is a tendency is because they use aspect markers in Chinese and we don't have this in English or any other language, and I don't know what the fuck happened with my little pinyin over there, but I have a tendency to sometimes just drop them, which may seem like a minor thing, but it can completely change the meaning of the sentence. So I do this over and over and over. So that's the first part, okay? Now I'm going to show you the second part. So the second part is, if I actually go, I've got someone doing a walkthrough of the game, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the headphones and I'm going to practice just talking as if I am playing. Now, I don't want to actually play at the same time because the whole point here is if I try to say something I don't know how to say it, I can pause, go look it up, practice it a little bit. If it's a structure that I'm struggling with, I can literally add it into my program. And the way I do that in my program is like, for example, I've got two here. I've got all these structures in here. I've got the English sentence and then I've got the Chinese and then I've got the pinyin over there. I am a programmer, so I love doing this type of shit, okay? I've got like a whole bunch of stuff I've been practicing around talking about spawning and stuff as well. And then these just take on like generic nouns and stuff. Like here's I've got a list. I've got spatial type of stuff, you know. Here's the actual characters and things like that. But then I'll play the game, okay? So I'm just going to play it a little bit. I'll pause and I'll try to say stuff. Okay, so I just heard a certain type of zombie. It's like this jumping one. It's called a hunter. So now I would say that. I'd go, 我听到猎人的声音 or 我听到前面有一个猎人的声音 So it's like I'm practicing saying, you know, I can hear the sound of a hunter or I can hear the sound of a hunter in front of me. And then I just continue. Okay, 那个猎人他攻击我们的队友 So, you know, that hunter, he's attacking our teammate. Okay, and you know, right now I'm shooting them, so I could say, 吃我的火 you know, it's like, eat my fire type of thing, you know. I'm just trying to think of random stuff while also talking with you guys. Okay, now I just heard sounds of zombies behind me, so I could say, 我听到后面有一些僵尸的声音，我觉得他们想朝我跑过来了。You know, so I heard some sounds of zombies behind me. I think they want to charge at me. You know, I'm just saying random shit at the moment. It doesn't really make too much sense. Okay, so I'm hearing a sound that it's a little bit hard because I've got my headphones off, but I might have heard a tank sound. So I could say, 我决定, is that correct? No, that's not correct. I'd say, 我觉得我上面有一个坦克的声音 you see I'm practicing those same structures over and over. And this is what I basically do. I just keep watching, repeating, you know, talking, and there'll be nouns and stuff that I don't know and stuff, and the plan is that the better I get at this, the more fluid I get in this, hopefully in about a month, I'll be able to just be like, blah, 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 you know, spurting out the same type of fucking regurgitated type of shit, and then also adding in my own random thoughts as I'm playing, and then I'll get to a point where it becomes completely automated because I practice this over and over, then I can start going and actually doing this in a Let's Play video. Now, you might be thinking, well, that seems really artificial. You're like watching the game, you're practicing these sentences over and over, but this is a good way to do it. It allows me to narrow in on a very specific subset of the language and get really good at that subset. And then once I play the game in about a month or so on my Chinese channel and I use all these structures and stuff, I may play a different level in the game. Like that's another word that I only just learned the other day. Level is, 关卡, like I didn't know that was the word, but like that's what I mean. I'm learning all the words related to just this action here. But then once I've done that, I may play a different level, and then once I feel I'm pretty confident with this game, I'm going to go do another game, and then another game, and then obviously everything that I've learned in one game, like, you know, hearing all the things around me and explaining all their location and what's happening and stuff, that's going to be reusable in the next game. So each game will then hopefully I will progress faster and faster. So that's how I've been approaching this. I've also obviously just been watching other Chinese Let's Players, you know, play and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm getting basically inspiration from how they talk. For example, there's one Let's Player who I really like. His name is Zhu, and he basically he has a lot of common set structures that he uses over and over. He'll be like, what was an example? I'm just trying to think of one off the top of my head. He'll be like, 什么奇怪的声音? You know, well, that was such a strange noise. Like, he says that all the goddamn time, okay? And then, like, other ones, he'll be like, 什么情况? You know, what is this situation? Like, what's going on here type of thing. Now, these are, like, kind of set little small structures, which you're not going to pick up in a textbook, but they're kind of good. And I use the content that I watch, the CI content, and I look for these very repetitive structures that I can use. And I start stealing from them as well. So, one, I'm building out my sentences and practicing my grammar around specific verbs, because verbs is like obviously the main part of every sentence. Then I come here, I watch some content, I practice saying the stuff as if I am playing, and then at the same time I'm watching content from actual Let's Players. Now, maybe this is not the best way to do things, but I actually enjoy this quite a bit because I feel like I'm making progress, even though if you look at the entire language of things, like, it's just trying to learn all of Chinese is just an insane task. But if I'm just focused on this one little aspect, it allows me to feel those successes each day, because each time I sit down and I play, I can now say stuff a little bit better. I can now say things that I couldn't say yesterday. I can start using words that I didn't know 2 days ago, like 急救包, you know, that's like it's a health pack, okay? I did not know how to say that a couple of days ago, even though I'd watched, I don't know, 50 hours, 100, 200 hours worth of gameplay content. I'd heard that word over and over, but I'd never practiced saying it because I never had a need. But now I have a need. So yeah, this is what I've been doing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this random little insight. If you want to see more as I'm progressing, let me know down in the comment section. And yeah, in about a month, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do my first Let's Play on that Chinese channel. Oh yeah, I always forget to say this, but sub to the goddamn channel. Otherwise, Elmo and I will bury our back before we put the grass in.